You know that cup of coffee you're probably holding right now? Well, it's so much more than just a morning pick-me-up. It's actually the final chapter of this incredible 1,500-year-long story. We're talking legends, smugglers, popes, even patriots. So, yeah, let's dive right into this epic journey.
So it really all boils down to this one question. The answer? It's going to take us all the way from the highlands of ancient Africa to, well, literally every corner of the modern world. And let me tell you, it is a much wilder story than you might think. Okay, so for our first stop, we're going way back to ancient Abyssinia, which we now know as Ethiopia. This is where the whole legend kicks off. And it doesn't start in some fancy cafe. Not at all. It starts on a remote mountainside with a bunch of goats. I mean, can you just picture that for a second? This goat herder, Kaldi, he looks over and sees his goats dancing. They're just buzzing with energy. So he tries these weird little red berries himself and bam, he feels that same jolt. Right there, in that one moment, this accidental discovery happens that is literally going to change the entire world.
So yeah, the whole dancing goats thing, that might just be a legend. But the historical texts, they absolutely back this up. They confirm that this is exactly where coffee's story gets started. Right there, in the highlands of Ethiopia and just across the Red Sea, in Arabia.
All right, so let's jump into the next chapter, because this is where things really start to build. The coffee bean travels from Ethiopia over to the Arabian Peninsula, to Yemen to be exact. And this is the point where it stops being just a berry and starts becoming a full-blown cultural phenomenon. You know, the name itself kind of tells the whole story. The Arabs called it kafwa, which pretty much just means stimulant. They knew exactly what this drink did. It was for focus, for energy, for staying awake during long prayers. So right from the very beginning, that energizing effect was the main event. And get this, forget about your social media feed. These were the original social networks. Seriously. Coffee houses started popping up all over the Islamic world, and they became these incredible, vibrant hubs where new ideas weren't just being shared, they were being born. For the price of a single cup of coffee, you could listen in on conversations between merchants, scholars, poets. It was like democratizing information long before we had mass media. And right there, you can see that first, really critical leap from Africa straight over to Arabia. Now, for centuries, that's where the story stayed. It was contained. The Arab world knew exactly how valuable this thing they'd found was. And they guarded it fiercely. I mean, any beans that were exported were boiled or roasted first, just to make sure they couldn't be planted anywhere else. It was a total monopoly. But come on, a secret this good, it's not going to be kept forever, right? It all came down to one single act of smuggling. A pilgrim, Baba Budan, strapped 7 fertile beans to his stomach and walked out. That's what it took to finally break coffee out into the rest of the world. Okay, so when coffee finally lands in Europe around the 1600s, it doesn't exactly get a warm welcome from everybody. Nope. In fact, it kicks off this huge debate. The big question was, is this dark, stimulating new drink a gift, or is it a curse?
Oh, I love this part of the story. It's just so dramatic. So, on one side, you've got these priests calling it a bitter invention of Satan, a devilish drink from the East. But on the other side, you've got the Pope himself. The story goes that everyone was pressuring Pope Clement VIII to ban it. But before he did, he decided to try it. And what do you know? He loved it. He supposedly baptized it right then and there, making it an officially acceptable Christian beverage. And that, well, that one papal approval changed absolutely everything. And once it had the Pope's blessing, whoa, coffee culture just exploded across Europe. Just like we saw in the Middle East, coffee houses became the new hotspots for ideas, for business, for art. I mean, just look how fast they spread through all the major cities: London, Berlin, Paris, Vienna. Here's a fun fact for you. The famous insurance market Lloyd's of London, it actually started out as a coffee house. But wait, the journey isn't over yet. Not by a long shot. The next giant leap for the little coffee bean is going to be across the massive Atlantic Ocean. And over there, it's going to find not only fertile new ground, but a whole new political identity. It's just an incredible story. There's this French naval officer, Gabriel Declue, and he transports one single, tiny, fragile coffee seedling in a glass case on this long, really dangerous sea voyage all the way to Martinique. He even shared his own water ration with the little plant just to keep it alive. And the craziest part? Nearly all the coffee in Central and South America can be traced back to that one single plant.
Now, here's a fantastic political twist for you. In the American colonies, tea was king, right? That was the drink of choice, until the British started taxing it like crazy. So after the colonists did their famous Boston Tea Party, throwing all that tea into the harbor, rejecting tea and drinking coffee instead, well, that became a huge symbol of freedom. Drinking coffee was literally a patriotic act.
And from that one single plant in Martinique, coffee farming it spread like wildfire. You can see on this timeline just how incredibly fast it all happened. In just a few decades, it had taken root in Brazil, then Venezuela, then Colombia, laying the foundation for the massive coffee powerhouses that we all know today.
All right, so we followed this little bean all the way from Africa, through the Middle East, into Europe, and then clear across the Americas. So now let's take a look at the final picture. What does it all add up to? Well, basically, total world domination. And here are the results of that incredible journey. You can just see it laid out. From its humble origins in Africa, coffee farming spread and became a huge industry in the Americas, in Asia, even Oceania. It's now grown commercially on pretty much every continent. Well, with one really fascinating exception. And this is the great irony of the whole story. Europe, the continent that fell head over heels in love with coffee, that invented the coffeehouse culture we know, and then spread the plant all over the globe through its colonies, it's the only continent that doesn't really grow it commercially. It was the spark, the catalyst, but it wasn't the final home. So there you have it. From a simple snack for a goat herder to a global ritual that connects billions of us every single day. The next time you take a sip of your coffee, just think about that. Think about the incredible 1,500-year journey that had to happen just to make that one cup in your hands possible. What a story.